Welcome everyone to the LMS4 how-to video, Copying Content to Next Term. My name is Rich Overhold. I'm the LMS Product Manager, and I'll be guiding us all through this very short video, which basically covers the process for how to take your existing course content and copy it forward to the next term. In this very brief video, we're first going to provide a workflow overview to kind of show you the two different methods that you can employ for doing this. And then we'll actually give you a detailed walkthrough of both of them, which involves copying your content from the sandbox into a destination term, or copying the content to the next term directly from the current term. Now, in terms of the workflow that you can employ to complete this task, the first that we offer is copying directly from the sandbox into the source term and section. This is the process that all of you employed when creating your course content for the first time with the LMS4 launch and pushing it into the initial term, which was May of 2017. So the first step involved creating the content in the sandbox and then pushing it forward to the destination section, which in this case was May 2017. Now, for future sections, you do not need to refer back to the sandbox, but instead you can take a very V3 type approach in simply copying content from one section to a future section. So note the contrast between the two workflows. One, the content's being constructed in the sandbox first and pushed directly into the section. But future sections will involve simply referring to the section initially and pushing forward into future sections. And it's this latter process involving section to section that we'll spend the majority of our time on here in this brief video. Now we're going to move ourselves over into the sandbox itself so that we can show you an example of this. The course for which we'll be demonstrating will be Career Module 1, Personal Branding. The process here can start by selecting this first. So note that we're working with content, so we're beginning in the sandbox menu, and we want to select the specific course where movement will be involved. Now remember, the first workflow that we showed you or pointed out in the diagram a moment ago involved selecting items of content that have already been built in your sandbox. And when I say select, I mean simply checking the boxes for the desired items. Note that you do not need to select every single item. You can pick and choose if you want to do something less than all of them, which is an enhancement for V4 over what V3 used to offer. And then selecting your destination. So you would employ the copy to function and tell the system that you wanted to copy to sections. So here you would go to the drop-down of sections and choose your destination by simply clicking on one or more of them and clicking copy. Now I'd like to note something important. When you're looking at the sandbox itself, you will notice that there are no dates. In other words, you do not see specific dates for the publish date and the due date for each of these items. Instead, we employ what are referred to as the offset and duration. The offset basically is how many days after the open day of the term in which these items will be copied, the system should wait to make them open. The fact that we have an offset set to 00 means that these will open the first day of the destination term and stay open 3 weeks and 5 days. So again, we would select our items, use copy to sections, select our destination sections, and these would copy. Now, once things actually copy, we can go over and create modules, enable prerequisites if we wish, alter the weight, alter the specific date of publish and due within the individual section. So this is using the new workflow employed by V4. Now, since most of you probably have content that's been live in your term, we'd like to offer an alternative workflow. This is the second thing that we covered in our diagram a moment ago, which talks about copying content from one section to another. It's a process that's very similar to that employed by V3. The primary enhancement is that you can actually select multiple destination sections at once. So essentially in one push, we can copy this to as many sections as we want. Now the process for doing so, once you've selected the sandbox of the specific course, is to expand your side menu and select terms. You'll see that in our current term, we have 10 sections, and we can see its dates. We do want to select the current term. Okay, so this will be your process. Select course from the sandbox, open the terms menu from the side panel, and select the current term. Now, when you see the section from which you wish to copy, you can do one of two things. You can either click on it in the list to see its detail, and let's do that just for a reality check before we copy anything. You can see in looking at section A, or section AA, that we have a completion assignment, which exists within a module, a second completion assignment, and a test existing within a second module. We can see that these items are enabled, and we can see the specific dates within the May term and the relative weights. Now, in looking at this, if we decide, hey, this is in fact what we want, we can return to the prior view of sections, and to the immediate right of our source or from section, we can click the Copy to Sections button. Below are the sections you can copy to. You can choose more than one. I can select my drop-down. Notice that the way these are grouped is to show you items that exist within the current term, all grouped together first, followed then by groupings for future terms, and below all the future terms, prior terms. So what I'm going to do here is actually select every single term, or every single section rather, of this future term. And I just have to click on them one at a time to add all 11 to the list. And when I have them all selected, note that I can remove one item from the list by clicking on the little X next to it, and I can select Copy to actually move things over. It'll ask you for confirmation and perform the copy. Now please keep in mind, like in my example here, since we do have 11 sections and multiple items that we need to copy, this could take a few moments. Once the copying action is completed, we'll receive a success message down in the lower right. And now we can actually verify that this information has properly copied forward, including adjusting the dates considering the destination term. By going back into our terms menu, this time we can select the upcoming terms. Let's take a look in our June term. Notice we see 11 sections and we see the dates. We can click into it. You can see in browsing our list here that all 11 sections are represented. And if I want to click into one of these, I can see its detail, noting that the module's copied forward, noting that the weights copied forward, and notice that the dates copied forward, including adjustment for the destination term. And this will complete your process. If anyone has any questions or issues with this, we encourage you to contact the LMS Product Management email, which is listed on screen for you now. And we wish you good luck in managing your content for future terms.